Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel and the Raid and Climb series. This is a series where I am taking you through the journey of my online raid and climb and just documenting the journey. I'm going to be showing you just one game today. It was a game that I played yesterday in my rapid, so I post Blitz and Rapid, but this one was a rapid game. Let us just get right into it. Okay, here we go. So I'm just gonna adjust my camera here a little bit. Sorry about that. Again, I mentioned this in the last video as well, experimenting with a little bit of background stuff. Right now I just have a green screen by itself here, but just working on stuff, so please don't mind how bad it looks. It does look pretty bad. I will just move it over a little bit. Alright, so playing with white pieces, I'm 1106 at the time of, since my last recording, since my last game I played, which was also the last video I recorded. My opponent is Vito Syed, rated 1109, and here we go. If you know me, d4 player, Queen's Gambit. My opponent goes c6, knight to f3, knight to f6, and I go g3. I'm just trying to fiend counter right away, which I am able to do. My opponent goes bishop g4. I've faced this, plenty of times. Knight to c3, and it takes on f3. I take with the bishop, obviously. He goes e6. Again, I say he, but, I don't know who it is. Castles. I'm assuming it's a he. I could be wrong. The computer likes queen to b3 with the queen to b3 for white, but after bishop to e7, I go bishop to f4. I'm just trying to develop. I think the only reason it likes that is because it's attacking the pawn, but after the pawn moves, I don't know what you would do. He goes knight bd7, and I go c5. I've been playing a little bit of c5 recently, and I've really liked the positions I get out of it now, because the main idea is just to close down the center and give it, like, really restrict black, which is what I, obviously what I get here from this position is a nice closed position here. Black doesn't have a lot of movement, and even if they try and go something like b6, I can always go b4, which is really nice. They castle, and I go e4 now, b6 and e5, and here they go knight to h7, which is the only move really to well, see, I was looking at the position. I'm like, okay, so there's knight to h7, but there's also this, right? And you lose a pawn. I think, yeah, you lose a pawn, but white is attacking stuff, and I don't know. Black is still doing relatively okay, but my opponent goes knight to e7, and after this, I think for a little bit, I go rook to e1. Rook, I'm just trying to develop the pieces right now, so I'm not trying to do anything crazy, I'm not trying to go on any crazy attack or anything, just right now, just trying to develop. And they take on c5, and I just kind of blundered a pawn there. I take back, they take, I go a3, after queen to b6, I think for a little bit, they're threatening the pawn on f2, and the queen is also threatening the pawn on b2, so I go queen to d2, defending both. Here they go rook to b8, and there's many things I could do. For a little bit, I was thinking about knight to a4, I was thinking about maybe going bishop to e3, many things looked pretty nice, but the main thing is I need to protect that pawn on b2, which is knight to a4 stuck out to me the most because I attacked the queen and the bishop, and I also defend the pawn. But here I just instead go b4. My opponent goes back to e7 with the bishop, and here I go e3 with the bishop attacking the queen. Queen goes to c7. I have a few ideas, I would really like to protect those pawns, though, which is why I go rook ab1. My opponent takes on e5, though, and I go here. So they're attacking my bishop, and I don't want to move my, I can move my king or something, but I really don't want to because my king is just really exposed then, and I could be exposed to some checks and stuff. And here my bishop is just hanging, and if I would have just left it there, then I would have got the royal fork, which wouldn't have been very fun. So I go bishop to e2 because I really want to hang on to my bishop because it's very nice for me. At least I thought so. And my opponent goes bishop to knight to g5. Gets threatening the same thing basically. So in this case, um, I can't take here. Well, I can take there, but the main thing is they're trying to go here because then it's the same thing, right? So I go king to g2, and they go a5, which I'm like, okay, a5 doesn't really do anything, so I go f4. So I'm just forking the knights. Here they take on b4. They go knight to c4. Obviously, I want to take because after this, I'm just up a knight. Rook f d8. I go queen to f2. I'm not very happy with queen to f2. Looking back on it, I really wish I would have gone queen to e2 because then I'm threatening the pawn. But in the heat of the moment, I was actually relatively low on time as well, which is another factor. But queen to f2, is what I played. H takes g5, knight to a2. The reason for knight to a2 is because obviously the black bishop, and the rook there on b8 are both threatening the pawn on b4, and I really want to hang on to it, so I just go knight to a2. And now we have f6, and I go bishop c5. And they go, my opponent goes rook to d5, which when they play this, obviously I want to take. Here they go rook to f5. I go queen to c2, attacking, not attacking the rook, attacking the pawn. Queen to b7. I don't, the main thing about this is it's a discovered check. I just go rook to f1. They give me a check like it's the craziest thing in the world. I go king to g1. Now we trade. And I take queen takes c4. Right now I'm threatening queen takes e6 check. So they go king to a7, rook to b1, and I'm threatening the pawn now. And after this, I go here, which the computer really liked that, by the way, because it was one of the only moves, I think. And queen to b5, obviously I want to take. So we have this, and then I take here. And now I have to be careful, right? I have a knight for 2 pawns, so it's technically, I would say it's over for my opponent, but really not because they have a nice pawn structure. They have a passed pawn. They got doubled pawns, but they have a passed pawn. They have a nice centralized rook, and my knight can't move right now, at least. So my opponent goes e5, and I start bringing my king. I get over here. He takes f4. This is actually a relatively longer game. This is like 58 moves, so we're at we have like 15 moves left. King to c4 now. Opponent goes rook to b8, rook to e1, and now I can move my knight, right? Because it's no longer pinned to anything. g5, and I take. My opponent just blunders the pawn. g4, rook e7 check. The checks were kind of unnecessary. I didn't I didn't need to throw in that many checks, but I was kind of low on time. I didn't want my opponent to push the pawns too far. King to g6. And, I just gave a few checks. And I go here. They checked me. And here, I have no idea why they sacked the rook for the knight. But after this, I'm like, okay, it's really easy to win now. Boom, boom. I got the pawn. Now I just cut the king off. And my opponent resigned. So, didn't have to go along with that. I mean, if you know anything about king and rook, I mean, it's pretty easy. You just bring the king, blah, blah, blah. You just cut the king off, and then eventually you get here. And if they go here, it's a mate there. That's just an easy thing to know if you know how to do it. But yeah, I didn't have to do that because after rook takes f2. So yeah, very nice game. That brought my rating up to 1115. So finally climbing the ladder after being at, I think my highest was like 1130, 30 to 32 around there. Finally trying to get closer to that, getting closer to that, which means maybe getting past that in the future, getting to 1200, maybe 1200 and beyond. So yeah, I just wanted to do this quick video just to show you this one game. Hope you all enjoyed. Make sure to subscribe right here. Make sure to check out this video. YouTube thinks you'll like it. And that's it. Thank you all for the support. Make sure to check out the community page. I have a poll for different video ideas. Make sure to vote there. May your mates be merry on the chessboard, and I'll see you all in the next video. Also, if you have any suggestions for future videos, not in the poll at all, just leave them down in the comments, and I would love to get back to you guys. And with that being said, I'll see you all in the next video. Like I said, bye.